Yes, students. Now we will learn the TDS to be deducted under various sections on the payments to be made by the payer to the payee. Depending upon the nature of payment, the payer has to decide under which section TDS has to be deducted and at what rate. So this is the format 2, where in which I would be covering the TDS under various sections, guys. This document is at the end of the material, that is the TDS chart. First, I will just explain the format. Please listen. See, columns, various columns are there. First section, try to remember the section number. Important, guys. There are number of sections, but you can remember it. Wherever possible, I will also give the shortcut. Don't worry, but please try to remember the sections. Then description means what is the nature of payment covered. Next, threshold limit. Threshold limit means only TDS has to be deducted if the payment is more than. For example, assume threshold limit is 1 lakh. So TDS has to be deducted only if the payment is more than 1 lakh. Sir, what if it is within 1 lakh? For example, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 80,000 is paid. No TDS. But assume threshold limit is 1 lakh. The payment made is 1 lakh 20,000. TDS has to be deducted on 1 lakh or 120 now. Full 120. Full 120. That is the payment made. If it is crossing the threshold limit, TDS has to be deducted on the entire amount, guys. Here and there in few sections, there is exceptions where we need to deduct TDS only on the excess part. But there I will tell you specifically. Whereas for all other sections, when the payment or the amount of payment is crossing the threshold limit, TDS has to be deducted on the entire amount. Correct, Putraju? TDS has to be deducted on what amount? Only the excess amount or the entire amount? Entire amount. Okay, then coming to payer, means who is the person who is making the payment. Then payee, who is the person who is receiving the payment. Okay, so they have told who is the payer, who should be the payee. Then rate of TDS. At what rate TDS has to be deducted by the payer? Before he pay the amount to the payee, at what rate TDS has to be deducted? Then coming to time of deduction, means when TDS has to be deducted, sir. At what point of time TDS has to be deducted? But once it is deducted, guys, it has to be remitted to the government within 7th. But we are talking about when it has to be deducted. Means I am talking about this event. Sir, when should we do this? Once I do this, obviously I need to deposit it to the government within 7th of next month. That is already we have discussed. We will again see that later. But what I am talking about in that column time of deduction means, sir, when this has to happen. When this has to happen. Okay. Last one, payments or income exempted from TDS. Means whatever I would have given here, on this no TDS, guys. On this no TDS. Even though by chance these amounts are more than threshold limits, still no TDS. Still no TDS. So if you just know this chart, it is more than enough, guys. To the extent possible, I have tried to simplify you. Sir, if I just study this much, is it enough? Yes. Even in the institute study material, you will find lot of details they would have given. But from exam point of view, as well as knowledge point of view, if you know this much, this is more than enough, guys. So I'm telling you before I start also, guys, please try to remember the section numbers. Along with, obviously, what is there in the section content, you have to remember along with section numbers. Okay. So before I start, I just want to give few more informations. Time of deduction was there, no? That is in this chart. In this chart, you can see last but one column. That is, when should TDS be deducted? Guys, for few sections, it is at the time of payment. Whereas for few sections, they have told TDS has to be deducted at the time of payment or at the time of giving credit to the payee, whichever is earlier. Let me explain that first, then we will go through the sections. When TDS has to be deducted. Guys, for these sections, I have given at the bottom sections covered. That is section 192, 192A, 192, 194B, BA, BB, 194DA, 194LA, N, P and R. When TDS has to be deducted is at the time of payment. On the date of payment, TDS has to be deducted. Clear? Yes. So let me explain that with an example. Assume, guys, it is a cash transaction. Means payment is made immediately. We are booking the expenses and paying the expenses immediately. What is the journal entry we will pass? Assume it is on 15th July. What is the entry we will pass? Expenses to bank. Cash transaction is not like we are paying in cash. We are paying immediately. You know, in your accounts and all, you would have learned something about cash sales, credit sales. Cash sales means literally, will we collect money in cash? No, no. Cash sales means, sir, amount is collected immediately from the buyer, sir. Okay. Same way. Expenses is paid immediately, guys. So on what day TDS has to be deducted here? As on 15th July. And this has to be remitted to the government on or before 7th August. Okay. Next coming to, sir, what if it is a credit transaction? Credit transaction means, sir, expenses I have incurred, but I'm not paying it immediately. I'm not paying it immediately. So assume expense entry we have passed on 10th August. What is the entry? Expenses to payee or creditor. Expenses to payee or creditor. Okay, means we are about to pay them. We are liable to pay them, but we have not yet paid. So they are liability till we pay them. So assume we are making the payment on 5th September, Teachers' Day. What is the entry for it? Whatever credit was there or liability was there, I am clearing it. So payee or creditor to bank. So if I ask you, this is the entry on which, this is the day on which we have passed expense entry. Whereas this is the day on which we have made the payment. TDS has to be deducted on what day? 5th September. That is the date of payment. So TDS has to be deducted on 5th September and it should be remitted to the government on or before 7th of October, guys. On or before 7th of October. Hope you understood. So in this cases, sir, this whatever you taught is applicable for which all sections I have mentioned here. Okay. Then in all these cases, TDS has to be deducted at what time, guys? Date of payment. Even if there is a delay in payment, on the date you are paying it, you are supposed to deduct TDS. Then we have another set of sections which I have given here. You can see section 193, 194, 194A, 194C, 194D, G, H, I, IA, IB, J, K, M, Q, T. For all the sections, when TDS has to be deducted, TDS has to be deducted, they have told, on the date of credit to the account of the payee. And here to the account of payee means not bank account, in the books of account, or the date of payment, whichever is earlier. I repeat, the TDS has to be deducted on the date of credit to the account of the payee or on the date of payment, whichever is earlier. Let me try to explain that with an example, guys. Assume there is a cash transaction where we are booking the expenses immediately, paying it immediately on the same day. Entry is passed on which day? 15th July. So TDS has to be deducted on what day? 15th July. Because there is no credit. Immediately we are paying it. TDS also has to be deducted on 15th July and remitted to the government on or before 7th August. Next, credit transaction. This is important. Credit transaction. Sir, I have incurred an expenses of assume 10 lakh, but I am not paying immediately. I have incurred the expenses on 10th August, so we are passing the entry. Expenses to whom? Payee or creditor. We normally use their name, but here I am using the name payee or creditor. Whatever is their name, we will use it in the books. Now listen. On what day, assume I am the payer. On what day I am giving the credit to the account of payee in my books? On 10th August. So date of credit to the account of payee in my books is 10th August. But I am making the payment on what day? 5th September. 5th September. That is payee or creditor to bank. Payment is clear. So date of payment is 5th September, whereas the date of credit to the account of payee is on 10th August. Whichever is earlier, 10th August. So TDS has to be deducted on what date, guys? 10th August. Hope you understood. Please be careful. Here they told date of credit to the account of payee. Students might misunderstand this as bank account. No. It is not a bank account. It is the account, payee account in the books of payer. Very simple. When I am supposed to pay something to you, you are a creditor to me. I would have credited your account in my books. I have incurred the liability, but I have not yet paid. Incurred but not paid. So expenses I will debit, but I will give a credit to whom? Not to bank, because I have not paid immediately. I will give credit to your account. So this day or this day, whichever is earlier. In our case, it is 10th August, guys. 10th August. Okay, sir. So on this day, TDS has to be deducted. But there can be a complication here. Why so? Assume, guys, I was supposed to pay you 10 lakh. You are the payee. I am the payer. I am making the payment on 5th September. But on this, I'm supposed to deduct TDS on what day? 10th August. I have not yet made the payment. From where will I deduct TDS? In that case, if that is the case, 1 lakh TDS, what I'm supposed to deduct on 10 lakh, no? I need to deposit out of my own pocket. Later, when I am making the payment to you, I will deduct 1 lakh and I will keep it. Clear? In simple, if there is a delay in payment, then the payer has to deposit TDS out of his own pocket. Later, when he is making the payment to the payee, deduct TDS and he can keep it because he has already deposited it. Is that clear? So simple. Government is telling in this section, simple. See, sir, you can delay the payment, but I want my revenue on time. I want my revenue on time. That is what government is telling. So assume the payment is delayed by 3 months, 4 months, 5 months and all. Will government wait till then? No. They told, please deduct and remit government TDS to the government on the date of credit. Sir, on the date of credit, we have not yet made the payment, sir. From where will I deduct? Deposit out of your own pocket. Later, when you deduct, you keep it with you. Got it? Huh? Yes. Sir, what if I delay? What if I delay? Then from, assume I was supposed to deduct on 10th August and deposit it on 7th September, right? If I delay from 8th September, interest will start. From 8th September, interest will start. Is that clear? Actually, in this case, payment is on 5th September. Even on payment day, if I deduct, I can deposit within next 2 days. Clear? But what if this is October, November, December and all? In that case, payer has to deposit TDS from his own pocket and later deduct and keep it in his pocket. Hope you understood. This is when TDS has to be deducted, guys. Then we have one more thing, that is this one. Sir, payer means who? Some sections will tell payer means any person or payer means resident. But for few sections, which are those sections I have given here? Section 194A, C, H, I, IB, J and R. For this sections, payer will include any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. So for this section, who is payer? I am explaining. Listen, simple. First check who is the payer. Who is the actual payer? Is an individual HUF? Take it them here. If there are others, they are always covered. Okay, payer for TDS purpose I am talking about. If actually the person who is paying it, if it is others like company, partnership firm, AOP, BO and all, they are always covered as payer for TDS. Whereas if the person who is paying it as individual or HUF, check whether tax audit was applicable for them in the last year. If yes, then in the current year, are they covered as payer? Yes. Should they deduct TDS? Yes. Sir, what if in the last year for them tax audit was not applicable? In the current year, even though they are paying amounts, they are not covered as payer. That means they are not supposed to deduct TDS under these sections? No, they need not. Hope you understood. I repeat. Guys, in this table, we have a payer here, right? For few sections, they have told, you can see payer means any person. But in few sections, they have told, payer means any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. That means individual HUF is covered only if they were subject to tax audit last year. If they were not subject to tax audit last year, are they covered as payer in the current year? No. So that is what I am trying to explain here. For only this many sections, not for all the sections, only for these sections. If the person who is paying the expenses is others, always they are covered as payer. We don't check whether they were subject to audit or not. We will not check it. If payer is an individual or HUF, check whether they were subject to tax audit last year. If they were subject to tax audit last year, are they covered as payer? Yes. In the current year, they are payer. For any payments they make under these sections, more than the threshold limit, they have to deduct TDS. Sir, what if the payer is an individual or HUF? They were not subject to tax audit last year, sir, but still making the payments which are covered under this section. Should they deduct TDS? No, they need not deduct TDS. Why, sir? Because simple, they are not covered as payer for TDS purpose. They are not covered as payer for TDS purpose. Got it? Yes. Just make a note of it, guys. See, this I am giving it before because these things or these provisions will repeat number of times in various sections. So it is good for us to know well before, so that when I go and read that section, it becomes easy for you. Oh, sure. Make a note of it. First this one, then this. Both. Yes, the actual game of TDS begins now. One by one section we will cover. First, section 192. It is applicable on salary expenses, guys. Who will pay salary to whom? Employer to employee. Guys, every year at the beginning, employer will ask employee to submit all the details. Employer will anyway know what is the salary expenses he is paying to the employee. But employee might have some other incomes like rental income, interest income. So employer will ask, submit the data about that at the beginning of the year. What are you expecting to earn in the form of rental, interest, dividend like that? Please submit the details. And also, if assessee is willing to follow optional scheme and want to claim exemptions for HRA or even for deductions under section 80C, 80D or any chapter 6A deductions, all these details employee has to submit to employer. Based on that, the employer will calculate the total income of employee. Sir, what if employee has not given any details? Then employer will believe that the salary income itself that is the total income of the employee and calculate tax on it. Clear? Calculate tax on what? Salary income or total income by applying the rates as applicable to the employee. That is as per the optional scheme or default scheme. Employee should inform that also. At the beginning of the year, he should tell which scheme is willing to follow. If by chance, if employee has not informed anything, then employer will believe that employee will follow default scheme. So you will compute the income of employee as per the default scheme or optional scheme, apply the tax rates as applicable, calculate the tax. So whatever is the total tax liability of the employee, he will divide it by 12 and every month before paying salary, he will deduct that. Clear? In simple, let me assume 1,20,000 is the total tax liability of employee. So you will divide it by 12. So salary is to be paid every month, right? Yes. So 1,20,000 is the total tax liability of employee. So per month, how much it comes to? 10,000. Assume guys, per month salary of the employee is 1 lakh. So before paying 1 lakh, you will deduct 10,000 as TDS and pay the remaining. Pay the remaining. Hope you understood. Sir, what about this 10,000 every month deducted? Totally 1,20,000 for employee Govindana? No. You can claim the credit of it, which I already explained. Got it? Yes. So here there is no fixed rate of TDS to be deducted. They have not given 1%, 2%, 10% has to be deducted. No, they didn't mention like that. They told employee whatever income is earning, especially salary, plus if he has disclosed other income also. So employer has to do that calculation. And we know in salary chapter, we learned allowance calculation, perquisite calculation, all this. Who has to do all this calculation? The employer only. He will do all this calculation and calculate what is the taxable salary of employee. And on that, he will apply the applicable tax rates to the assessee, that is employee, and calculate the tax, but divide it every month. Means he will divide it by 12 months. Every month, he would be deducting that much of TDS, guys. Okay. Threshold limit is how much here? The basic exemption limit. That is 4 lakh or 3 lakh. Sir, if employee is earning the salary income in a year less than basic exemption limit, then should employer deduct TDS? No. Actually, here they have told basic exemption limit as a threshold limit. But even if employee is eligible for a rebate, where the final tax to be paid is 0 of employee, employer should not deduct TDS. Employer should not deduct TDS. Hope you understood. Here the threshold limit is given is basic exemption limit. Means if employee's salary not per month in a year is less than basic exemption limit, employer should not deduct TDS. Sir, what if employee's salary is more than basic exemption limit, but he is eligible for rebate? He is a resident individual. His total income under default regime is less than 12 lakh, or his total income under optional scheme is less than 5 lakh. In that case, should employer deduct TDS? No. As the tax to be paid by employee is 0, in that case, employer need not deduct TDS, guys. Okay. Now, who should be the payer? Employer. Any person responsible for paying income under the head salaries, in simple, I call him as employer. Now, who is the payee? The person who has earned the income. Payee is nothing but the person who has earned the income. Payer means the person who has incurred the expenses. Okay. Employee, whether they're resident or non-resident, every employee is covered here. Whether the employee is a resident or non-resident, TDS has to be deducted as per section 192. At what rate TDS has to be deducted? They have not given the rate. They have told average rate of income tax computed on the basis of rates in force. That is as applicable to the assessee. Normally, employees will be individuals only. Correct? Can HUF become an employee? Company can become an employee? No. So for employee, what rates would be applicable? Slab rates as per the optional scheme or default scheme, guys. Time of deduction is at the time of payment every month. When TDS should not be deducted, that is last column. Allowances to the extent exempt under section 10 and exempt perquisite would be excluded. Obviously, while calculating the taxable salary of the employee, the employer would have reduced all the exempt allowances and exempt perquisites. Remaining only taxable salary you would have considered, on that how much is the tax. And all that calculation has to be taken care by employer, employer. Because he should calculate what is the taxable salary, and employer will know what all benefits he has given to the employee, value all that, calculate what is the salary income of employee, and accordingly deduct the TDS. Okay. Next, 192A. This is premature withdrawal from EPF. Guys, when employee is withdrawing from PF, who will pay the amount? PF fund or employer? PF fund. PF fund will pay the amount. So if employee is withdrawing the amount from recognized provident fund within 5 years, if it is withdrawn after 5 years, it is exempt. If it is withdrawn within 5 years, is it taxable? Yes. So should fund deduct TDS? Yes. As per which section? 192A. Premature withdrawal from employee's provident fund. If aggregate payment is 50,000 or more, who is the payer? The fund. Who is the payee, guys? Individual. Who is withdrawing the amount? That is normally employee. What is the rate of TDS? 10%. Guys, please be careful here. Payer cannot be employer. It is like fund with whom I have opened the account. Okay. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of payment. When TDS should not be deducted? If employee has rendered 5 years of service. Because we have learnt in salary chapter, if employee has rendered more than 5 years of service and if he is withdrawing the money from recognized provident fund, it is exempt. So if it is exempt in the hands of employee, should the fund deduct TDS? No. And even if it is unrecognized provident fund and all, should TDS be deducted? Yes. Because when the money is withdrawn from unrecognized provident fund, TDS is applicable. Why so? Because it is taxable in the hands of employee. Who should deduct the TDS? The fund which is paying the amount. If you remember, even in PGBP, we have covered one point connected to this. The employer has to make arrangements with the fund that if when it is paid to the employee, if it is taxable, the fund has to deduct TDS. Who should make this arrangement? The employer. If employer has not made this arrangements, then employer contribution to provident fund will not be allowed as expenses under the head PGBP. Hope you remember this point as per section 40. I repeat. Who is the one who is opening the PF account in the name of employee? The employer. With whom he is opening? Assume with any fund. Okay, which is recognized. Okay. Now, this employer has to tell the fund, if employee is withdrawing it within 5 years, it is taxable in the hands of employee, please deduct TDS. Who should make this arrangement? The employer. If by chance, if employer fails to make this arrangement where the person who is paying the amount to the employee from the fund, if he fails to deduct TDS, who is penalized? The employer. The employer cannot claim employer contribution to PF as expenses, guys. I had covered this point under the head PGBP. Okay. So in simple, when the amount is withdrawn from provident fund, only if it is taxable in the hands of the employee, TDS has to be deducted at the rate of 10%, only if the amount is 50,000 or more. Sir, what if the amount is chiller amount, 30, 40,000 and all? It is taxable in the hands of employee, but no TDS. No TDS. Okay. 193. And one more thing, guys, don't believe that, sir, if amount is less than the threshold limit, TDS will not be deducted. Does it mean that it is exempt for the payee? No. As the amount is small, he will only pay tax himself. That is what the department felt. Next, and guys, in TDS, there are a lot of amendments for your May and onwards exam. Please be careful. There are a lot of amendments. Wherever I have given in italics, you can observe here. Like this, they are the amendments. The threshold limit and rates here and there and all has been changed. So please be careful with that. I will tell you whenever it is amendment or changes, I will just highlight it. Okay, 193. Interest on securities. Securities here means what, guys? Securities here means what? Bonds or debentures. Sir, securities include shares also, no sir? Yes, but on shares we will not earn interest. We will earn dividend. Dividend is covered in section 194. Okay, na? So interest on securities here is nothing but interest on bonds or debt instruments or debentures, guys. When should we deduct TDS, sir? If the amount is more than 10,000. If the interest paid is more than 10,000, TDS has to be deducted. It is an amendment. Please be careful. Who should deduct TDS, sir? Any person paying interest on security. Who is the payee, sir? Any resident. That means non-residents are not covered here? No. Guys, most of the sections will tell payee includes only residents. Sir, what if the payee is a non-resident? Then TDS is as per section 195, which is not a part of your syllabus. TDS is as per section 195 if the payee is a non-resident. But that is not a part of your syllabus. But 192 includes both resident as well as non-resident. Whereas most of the section will tell payee means resident. But don't get confused. Sir, what if it is a non-resident? TDS would be deducted, but not as per that section. It is as per section 195. Okay. TDS at what rate, sir? 10%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of giving credit to the account of payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Sir, what is this? I have already explained. Hope you guys have understood that. Clear? I will just show you this part. Okay, where will it fall, sir? Under this category. You can see, I will just show you. 193 is coming here. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of giving credit to the account of the payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Normally, this will come only in case of credit transactions. If it is a cash transaction, straight away one date, payment date, deduct TDS on that. Clear? Yes. And many of the time they will just give payment date, straight away take that. Don't worry about credit date. If they have given both, take whichever is earlier. Take whichever is earlier, guys. Okay. Fine. So this is what I have already explained. So this will repeat number of times. Again and again, I need not explain, guys. That is why I explained it before I start with the sections. Because this will, you can see here also is there, here also is there. For many other sections also it will come. Okay. Sir, when no TDS? When no TDS? Guys, whatever I have given in the last column, even if it is more than threshold limit, no TDS in those cases. When is it, sir? No TDS if interest is paid to LIC, GIC and other insurance company. In simple, LIC means, you know, na, Life Insurance Corporation. GIC means General Insurance Corporation and other insurance company. Guys, you know, whatever premium we pay for the insurance company, what do they do with it? They will keep by themselves? No, they will invest. They will invest in equity shares, debt instruments, other securities and all. In that case, if they have invested our premium money in the securities and if they are earning interest, should the payer deduct TDS on it? No. The payer need not deduct TDS. Then on PFCL and IRFCL bonds, that is Power Finance Corporation Limited and Indian Railways Finance Corporation Limited bonds. If you have invested on these bonds, if they are paying you interest, no TDS on it. Next, on government securities, on national development bonds and on 7-year national savings certificates. If you have invested your money on this and if you are getting interest, will the payer deduct TDS? No. But please be careful. This actually comes under government securities, but still TDS is applicable. What are those? I have given it as note here. It may be noted that TDS has to be deducted in respect of the interest payable on 8% savings taxable bonds 2003 or 7.75% taxable savings taxable bonds 2018, floating rate savings bonds 2020 taxable. Means, sir, what about this rate? This is the actual rate of interest, guys. Don't worry about it. So on this bonds, if interest is more than 10,000, should TDS be deducted? Yes, TDS has to be deducted. Okay. So 193 we have done. I will cover 194A first. Then we will go to 194. 194A also talks about interest, but interest other than interest on securities. You know, securities includes only like bonds, debt instruments, debentures like that. Sir, what if I am paying interest on loan, borrowings, deposits? Then that is covered here. That is covered here. So whatever is covered here is interest other than interest on securities. Sir, what about interest on securities? We already learned. It is covered in section 193. Okay, 194A. Interest other than interest on securities. When TDS has to be deducted, payment exceeding 50,000, threshold limit has been changed. Wherever you see anything in italics, it is an amendment, guys. 50,000 is an amendment. Payment exceeding 50,000 in a financial year in case of interest is paid by. Means the following people are who? The following people are payer. Okay. The following people are payer. If they are paying interest, they should deduct TDS only if they are paying interest more than 50,000. Who are those people, sir? A banking company, a cooperative society engaged in the banking business. In simple, I can tell cooperative bank, or a deposit with post office under a notified scheme. Guys, simple. If the payer is bank, cooperative bank, or post office, if they are paying interest, when should they deduct TDS? If they are paying more than 50,000. Okay. In all the above cases, if the payee is a resident senior citizen, means if the account holder is a resident senior citizen, then they will deduct TDS only if the amount of interest is more than 1 lakh. Means double, guys, double. Actually, limit is 50,000, but if the account holder is senior citizen, that is resident senior citizen, 60 or more, the threshold limit is double, which is 1 lakh. Which is 1 lakh. For all others, how much? 50,000. Okay. Then 10,000 in a financial year in all other cases. Means if the payer is any person other than this. Guys, listen. Interesting. If the payer is a bank, cooperative bank, or post office, check who is the payee. If payee is a resident senior citizen, what is the threshold limit? 1 lakh. If payee is any other person, what is the threshold limit? 50,000. Next, sir, what if the payer is any other person? Not these three people, any other person. For example, company is paying interest on deposits. Company is paying interest on loan or borrowings. What is the threshold limit? 10,000. 10,000. Hope you understood. If the payer is any person other than these three, then what is the threshold limit? 10,000. Let the payee be any person. If the payer is any person other than this, the threshold limit applicable is 10,000. Clear? All this threshold limit is an amendments, guys. Okay. Who is the payer, sir? Payer as per this section can be any person, but other than individual or HUF for whom tax audit was not applicable last year. Any person, but it will not include individual HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. That means if individual or HUF was subject to tax audit last year, are they included in this payer? Yes. If you remember, I had covered in this table, guys. Is section 194A covered here? Yes. You can see payer for section 194A means any person. Others are always covered. Whereas if it is individual or HUF, they are covered only if they were subject to tax audit last year. If they were not subject to tax audit last year, are they covered as payer? No. So that means, assume I am the individual who was not subject to tax audit last year. I am paying interest to you 2 lakh. Should I deduct TDS? No, I should not. I should not. Why so? Because I am an individual for whom tax audit was not applicable in the last year. And I am paying interest to you. Any amount paid by me, no TDS. No TDS. Okay. Who should be the payee, sir? Any resident. Any resident. What should be the rate of TDS? 10%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Then coming to the last column, in the following case, no TDS. No TDS. Listen, interesting, guys. If the payer is the following people, that is, assume I have kept a deposits with bank. They are paying me interest more than 50,000. Should they deduct TDS? Yes. Now, vice versa. If these people are paying, I am paying interest to them. Should I deduct TDS? No. They are telling don't deduct TDS. So simple. If bank is paying me interest, should they deduct TDS? Yes. If I am paying interest to bank, should I deduct TDS? No. That is covered in last column. Clear? For example, I have taken a loan from bank or borrowings from bank. I am paying interest to them. Should I deduct TDS? No. If the payee is a bank, cooperative bank or post office, no TDS. But if they are the payer, should they deduct TDS? Yes. Last column, guys. Interest credited or paid to a banking company or a cooperative society engaged in the business of banking or any financial corporation established by or under a central, state or provincial act, LIC, Unit Trust of India, or any company and cooperative society carrying on the business of insurance. In simple, any insurer. Notified institution or association, a body or class of institution, association or bodies. Guys, simple. If the following people are payee, you can write there. If the following people are payee, no TDS. No TDS. Please be careful. You will get confused with this and this. That is why I have clearly mentioned payer here. Whereas here, payee. Okay. So if the interest is paid to the following people, irrespective of how much you have paid, no TDS, guys. Okay. Next, second point here. Interest credited or paid by a firm to a partner. Sir, partnership firm is paying interest on capital or interest on loan to the partner. Should they deduct TDS? No. For them, there is a new section which is introduced, which we will see later. But under section 194A, they should not deduct TDS. So whatever firm is paying interest on capital or interest on loan to the partner, they should not deduct TDS on that as per section 194A, guys. For any payments made by partnership firm to partner, TDS has to be deducted now. They have introduced a new section for it, which we will see at the end. Next, interest credited or paid by a cooperative society to its members or to any other cooperative society. One cooperative society paying interest to another cooperative society, should they deduct in TDS? No. Cooperative society paying interest to their members, should they deduct TDS? No. So in simple, cooperative society paying interest to members or another cooperative society, no TDS. Okay. Done with 194A. Done with 194A. And guys, please be careful. In few sections, the threshold limits are different in different cases. You should remember all of them. When, how much? When, how much? I will repeat this. If the interest is paid by bank, cooperative bank or post office to a resident senior citizen, what is the threshold limit? 1. For any other person, 50,000. Okay. Sir, what if the payer is any person other than bank, cooperative bank or post office? What is the threshold limit? 10,000. 10,000. Okay. Coming back to 194. 194. We have seen interest, now dividend. Dividend is paid on what? Shares. Here both are covered, equity as well as preference. When TDS has to be deducted, sir? If the shareholder is individual, if the dividend paid in a year is more than 10,000. Whereas if shareholder is any other person, like company invested in another company, partnership firm has invested in a company, who is the shareholder now? Company or a partnership firm? Should TDS be deducted? Yes. On even 1 rupee dividend, TDS has to be deducted because there is no threshold limit. Hope you understood. If the shareholder is an individual, what is the threshold limit? 10,000. If the shareholder is any other person other than individual, what is the threshold limit? 0. That means even 100 rupees dividend paid, should TDS be deducted? Yes. Yes. Who is the payer? The principal officer of the company, means who is the face of the company, guys? Because the company is an artificial person, right? Yes. Now we cannot tell artificial person, you deduct TDS. Correct. Now, yes. So there will be person who is running the show on behalf of the company, whom in income tax we call them as principal officer of the company, guys. Maybe the manager, CEO or president, whoever. We call them as principal officer for income tax purpose. Then who should be the payee? Shareholder, but resident shareholder. It can be individual. Guys, don't believe that shareholder means only individual. No. Even companies can invest in other companies. Partnership firm can invest. AOP can invest. BOI can invest. Anyone can invest in the companies. Okay, but they should be resident. What is the rate of TDS? 10%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit to the account of the shareholder or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. When TDS should not be deducted is when the dividend is paid to LIC, GIC or subsidiaries of GIC or any other insurer, provided the shares are owned by them. Same story, even interest is paid to them, no TDS. Even if dividend paid to them, no TDS, guys. Clear? Because whatever premium the insurance companies collect, they will invest actually in the markets, either in shares or in debt instruments. On that, they will earn interest or dividend, no? The payer need not deduct TDS on it. Okay, sir. Fine. Hope you understood. These three try to study together. because this is like a return on investment, guys. If I have made an investment, I will get a return in the form of either interest or dividend. On that, TDS has to be deducted by the payer as per section 193 or 194 or 194A. Try to study together. Why? Because, guys, the criteria is same. Rate is also 10%, same rate. 10%. 193 and 194A talks about interest, whereas 194 about dividend. All these are income on investments. But please be careful, capital gains is not covered here. Sir, what if I sell? TDS should be deducted. Huh? No. If you sell the shares or debentures or any debt instruments, will TDS be deducted on that? No. What we discussed here is only on interest income or dividend income. On sale, TDS is not deducted, guys. Okay, sir. Next, winnings. Let us move forward for winnings. We are done with return on investment. Return on investment will be in two forms. What is it? Interest or dividend? We have covered both. Next, casual income. Let us try to recall some few things which we have learned already with respect to casual income. What is casual income, sir? Winnings. Without much efforts, I have earned it. Clear, including online games. On this, what are the tax rates, guys? 30%. As per which section? 115. BB. Or if it is online games, BBJ. Okay. And against this casual income, can we claim any expenses? Can we claim any expenses? No. Against casual income, you cannot claim any expenses. You cannot adjust any loss. You cannot even adjust basic exemption limit. You cannot claim Chapter 6A deductions against casual income. So in simple, if I have earned a casual income of 5 lakh, straight away I have to pay 30% tax on it. Government also know the person who is earning the income in the casual nature will not keep that money till the assessment year. In one or the other way, you will spend it. So they are asking payer, please deduct 30% TDS. What is the tax rate applicable on casual income? 30%. Please deduct full 30%. Why? Because government are much aware that the people who earn this cannot keep this money till assessment year. They know it really well. Guys, that's the problem. When you get the money all of the sudden 5 lakh, 10 lakh, or even if it is in crores, people will not know how to manage it. Lack of education, lack of financial management. Correct. See, when we people earn it, in whatever way we earn it, we get it drop by drop, drop by drop, month by month, year by year. We know how to manage it, how to save it, how to invest it. But these people, they wish throughout their life, they wish we win so much. But once they win, they don't know how to manage it, how to handle it. Okay, you would have seen number of examples, people who won lottery, who won crorepati, that, this and all. By now, they have spent all the money, they don't know how to lead the life. And there are examples like that. Okay. So even government is aware of it. So that is why they are asking payer, please deduct 30% TDS. As per which section? There are 3 sections totally. 194B, BA and BB. All talks about casual income. Guys, listen. Actually, B has some connections with casual income. B has some connection with casual income. How is it, sir? Tax rates on casual income is given in which section? 115, BB and BBJ. Online games are covered in BBJ. What is the tax rate? 30%. And here also it is connected to BB. Okay, casual income is more like a betting. Remember like that. B for betting, casual income. Okay, all these 3 sections talks about TDS on casual income only. Rate is same, but I don't know why they have made 3 sections. They would have simply accumulated and made 1 section. Okay, let us see what they have given. I will go from bottom. 194 BB. When TDS has to be deducted here, winnings from horse race. Sir, I went and I bet on a particular horse. By mistake, it won. By mistake, it won. So I won the money. I won the money. So in that case, the payer, who is the organizer, has to deduct TDS of how much? 30%. Only if he is paying more than 10,000. Sir, what if I have earned some chiller amount, 1,000, 5,000 and all? No TDS. If the amount which I have won is more than 10,000, TDS will be deducted by the payer. Who is the payer here? The bookmaker or a person holding the license for horse racing, wagering or betting in any race course. We call them as bookie. Okay, they would have seen whenever, assume I went and I never go, but I'm just giving an example. I went and I wanted to bet. There is a race course in Bangalore, which is legal. So I went there, I wanted to bet on a particular horse. So I betted 5,000. If I win, I will get 50,000. Don't believe all these numbers, sir. Don't think, sir told, let me go and try my like anta. I'm just telling. So with the bookie, I have told, sir, take my bet 5,000. So he has written Vikas 5,000 and so hours. That hours won the race. So I won 50,000. They will pay me. Yes. Is 50,000 more than 10,000? Yes. Ramesh, how much TDS they will deduct? 30% of 50,000. Sir, now I invested 5,000. I incurred some expenditure. Can I claim all that? No. Whatever is your winnings, straight away taxable at 30%. Okay. Who is the payee? Any person. Resident, non-resident, whoever it is. TDS rate, 30%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of paying it. Okay. Next, 194 BA. 194 BA covers winnings from online games. So the person, whoever is organizing it or whoever owns that app has to deduct TDS. When, sir? On any amount. On the net winnings in a person's user's account, cash or in kind. Even if it is in kind, TDS has to be deducted. For example, sir, I participated in one of the mobile games or online games. I won a Thar. You know Thar? Yes. I won a Thar. Now they will deduct 30% of that and give it a remove all the wheels. Okay, body off, body cut. Remaining they will give a no. They will value what is the value of that Thar. Assume it is, I'm just giving random figure, 20 lakh or 25 we will take, 25 lakh. 30% of that they will collect from me, then only they will release the car for me. 25 lakh is the value of the car which I have won. Now will they remove a part of the car and give it to me? No. They will tell because the value of the gift or the winnings is 25 lakh. Please pay 30% of that. Only then they will release me the winnings. Clear? Yes. Now, who is the payer? Any person responsible for paying income by way of winnings. Anyone who is paying it. Normally, the person who is owning that app on which the people will bet. Who is the payee? Any person. Mainly targeted is youth here. Don't waste your time here on this online games and all. Got it, Yashas? How much is the rate of TDS? 30%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the end of financial year. That is in the March month. But sir, what? Assume I was participating in an online game. I have won 10,000. I am withdrawing that money from the app. I am withdrawing the money from the app in July itself. Then when TDS has to be deducted? In July, when I am withdrawing the amount. If I have kept the amount in the account itself, when will they deduct TDS? Last month of the previous, that is March. In between the year itself, I am withdrawing the money. I want to be safe. Whatever I have won, what if they take off? So I want to withdraw the money. When TDS will be deducted? Whenever I am withdrawing the money, guys. Okay, you can see. In case there is a withdrawal from user account during the financial year, that is on any month, tax would be deducted at the time of such withdrawal on net winnings comprised in such withdrawal. Net winnings means, guys, simple. Assume I have bet 10 rupees, I have won 100 rupees. What is my net winnings? 90 rupees. On that, they will deduct TDS. Here only they are telling net winnings. Clear? Huh? So, amount which I have bet, they will deduct. Or else, whatever amount I have incurred as a cost, they will allow here, only here. Online games. Any other expenses, they will not allow. But here, they are telling TDS is only on net winnings. What is that net winnings? What I bet, okay, will be reduced. For example, I won, assume 5,000 rupees. But the amount which I have put as bet as 1,000. So what is the net winnings? 4,000. On that TDS would be deducted. Okay. But whatever I have won, if it is less than 100 and if I am withdrawing it, no TDS. No TDS, guys. If the amount withdrawn is less than 100, they're telling no TDS. But if I win again and if I am withdrawing that amount, will TDS be deducted? Yes. For example, assume in this month I won 50 rupees and I withdraw it. Went for a tea party with friends. Okay. Yes. Next month again I won 500. I am withdrawing it. Will TDS be deducted? Yes. On how much? 50 plus 500 on 550. On 550, 30%. Hope you guys are getting it. If amount withdrawn is less than 100, no TDS. But if you withdraw again later, then on the cumulative amount, TDS would be deducted. Let me read that last column. Net winnings withdrawn does not exceed 100 in a month and tax not deducted on account of this concession is deducted at the time when the net winnings comprised in a withdrawal exceeds 100. So if you withdraw less than 100 in a month, we will not deduct TDS. But next time when you withdraw, including that amount, TDS would be deducted. Okay. In the same month or on the subsequent month, if there is no such withdrawal, then in the end of the year, that is in the March month, guys. Oh, so section 194BB told deduct TDS on winnings for horse race. 194BA told deduct TDS on winnings from where? Online games. Any other casual income is covered under 194B, guys. Any other casual income is covered here. I need not name it, any other. You know what and all will come under casual income. Two separate items are covered in two separate sections, online games and horse race. Rest all will come under 194B. Winnings from lottery, crossword puzzles or card games or other game of any sort other than winnings from online game. Even winnings from horse race will not be covered here because that is covered separately. Other than that, all things are covered here. When TDS has to be deducted, if the winnings is more than 10,000. Who should deduct TDS? Any person who is responsible for paying income by way of such winnings. Who is the payee? Any person who has earned it or won it. What is the rate of TDS? 30%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of payment. At the time of payment. Got it? Yes. Try to study these three sections together, guys. Easy to remember. B for betting. From betting, what will you earn? Casual income. So on casual income, TDS has to be always deducted at 30%. Clear? That 30% somewhere connected to the casual income. Easy, guys. Please remember it properly. 115 BB talks about what? Casual income. What is the tax rate? 30%. Where is it taxable? Under the head, other sources. And what is the TDS rate on it? Is given in section 194B, BA, BB. What is the rate of TDS? 30%. Casual income starts with what? C. C is the third alphabet. Rate of TDS is 30%. Tax rate is also 30%. Starts with 3. Remember like that. Okay, sir. Next, 194C. One of the important section, guys. 194C. Seeing? Hello, are you seeing? Good. Payment to contractors. C for what? Contract payment. So who is making the payment? I will first cover payer. Who is making the payment? Any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. In simple, as per this table, guys. As per this table, I had already covered, no? As per this table. Payer means any person, but it will not include individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. If they were subject to tax audit last year, will we consider them as payer? Yes. And sir, what about others? We will always consider them as payers. Of who should be the payee? Any resident contractor for carrying out any work, including supply of labor. That is any resident contractor who is giving contract services. Okay. Supply of labor, sir. Supply of labor, human trafficking, illegal. No, no, no. You know, agency contract and all is there, no? They provide you employees. They provide you security. There are a lot of security agencies, you know, or housekeeping services. Okay. They supply people to you. In the sense, they supply labors to you. And actually speaking, this is how it works. Assume they are working for me. They are working for me as security or housekeeping people. I will pay them salary through this agency. Assume I am paying them the salary of 20,000. Full 20 will not go to the person, Papa, because a part of it will go to the agency as commission. Clear? So that is what is given supply of labor. Please don't mistake there. Okay. Sir, what is the threshold limit? Now I am coming back to this. What is the threshold limit? If single payment is made, the threshold limit is 30,000. If it crosses it, should we deduct TDS? Yes. Sir, what if multiple payments are made? Then the aggregate limit is 1 lakh. Then the aggregate limit is 1 lakh. Guys. That is, if aggregate payment in a year crosses 1 lakh, TDS has to be deducted. Guys, listen. You are a contractor, resident contractor. I am making a payment of 20,000 to you. Only one payment. Should I deduct TDS? No. Within threshold limit. Next, I am making you 20,000 payments 10 times. What is the total payment? 2 lakh. Is it more than 1 lakh? Yes. I should deduct TDS on entire 2 lakh. Full 2 lakh. Hope you understood. If multiple payments are made, check the aggregate. Is it more than 1 lakh? Yes, TDS has to be deducted on the entire amount. Sir, what if only single payment is made in 1 year to a one person? Then threshold limit is 30,000. If it is within 30,000, no TDS. More than 30,000, on the entire amount, TDS has to be deducted. Sir, TDS has to be deducted at what rate, sir? If the payee, that is, if the contractor is an individual or HUF, TDS has to be deducted at 1%. Whereas if the payee is any other person means other than individual or HUF, TDS has to be deducted at 2%, guys. Now assume I am making payment to you. You are a resident contractor. You are an individual. How much TDS should I deduct? 1%. Next case, assume you are a company. I am making payment to you. How much TDS should I deduct? 2%. So if the payee here is nothing but the contractor, guys, this guy. If this person is an individual or HUF, how much TDS people? 1%. If it is any other person, how much TDS people? 2%. Any other person means like company, partnership firm, AOP, BOI, like that. Okay. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Next, when TDS should not be deducted, sir? In the following case, no TDS, guys. No TDS. When is it, sir? Any sum credited or paid to a contractor in the transport business who owns 10 or less goods carriages at any time during the previous year. If the contractor furnishes a declaration to that effect along with his PAN to the person paying or crediting such sum. Guys, somewhere we have seen similar to this. Where is it? Presumptive scheme under section 44 AE. Assessee who is engaged in the goods carriage business and if they own not more than 10 vehicles during the previous year, can they follow the presumptive scheme under section 44 AE? Yes. What is the presumptive income, sir? If it is a heavy goods vehicle, 1000 rupees per ton or part of the ton for each month or part of the month. If it is other than heavy goods vehicle, 7500 per month or part of the month for each vehicle. Yes. Now, you are making payment to them. Should you deduct TDS? No. Irrespective of how much amount I am paying, no TDS, guys. Is it clear? Now assume I have hired a goods carriage. I am paying them 50,000. Should I deduct TDS? No. Provided they don't own more than 10 vehicles. Sir, what if they own more than 10 vehicles? Then I should deduct TDS. Clear? And some more information is there. That is, they have to give their PAN to me. Only then I will not deduct TDS. Next, second point there. Any sum credited or paid by an individual or HUF. Who is the payer? Individual or HUF. Exclusively for the personal purpose of such individual or HUF for personal contract. First of all, guys, who is covered as payer here is any person other than individual or HUF who is not subject to tax audit. Sir, if individual or HUF is subject to tax audit, are they covered as payer? Yes. What if they are not subject to tax audit last year? Not covered. Now assume I am an individual. I am an individual for whom tax audit was applicable last year. Am I covered as payer? Yes. But I have taken some contract for my personal purpose. I am making the payment. Should I deduct TDS? No. Even though I am covered here, they are telling don't deduct TDS. Why, sir? Simple. Guys, assume I was getting married, so I have taken a services of catering services, contract. Okay, food contract I had given for a caterer. I am making payment of 5 lakh for them. Should I deduct TDS? No, because it is for personal purpose. Even though I was subject to tax audit last year, I am covered under payer, but I am not deducting TDS. Why? Because it was for personal purpose. Contract was for personal purpose. Same way, assume I have given a contract of decoration to an event management company for whom I am making a payment of 10 lakh. They are making decoration for what? For my marriage, personal. Should I deduct TDS? No. Should I deduct TDS? No. Sir, what if it was for business or profession purpose? Should I deduct TDS? Yes. I should deduct TDS. Okay, fine. 194C done. Important section, guys, and easy to remember. 194C. C for what? Contract payment. Next, D. Insurance commission. Guys, insurance commission is paid by whom to whom? Insurance company to agent. Who will pay this commission to whom? Insurance company to agent. Now, when insurance company is paying a commission to an agent for more than 20,000, they have to deduct a TDS of how much? 10% if the agent is a domestic company. Whereas if an agent is any person other than company, then they should deduct TDS of how much, guys? 2%. So simple. If insurance commission is paid more than 20,000, who will actually pay this? I have given any person. This is how they are mentioned in the law. But any person here means who? Insurance company. Insurance company. They will pay to whom? Any resident they have told. But any resident includes whom, guys? Agent. You know, at least one of the member in your family will be agent. Especially LIC agent. Yeah, they care you for like anything. Especially your parents. They will tell, please take policy. You will not understand. What if you are not there? Your family will be in trouble. Please take policy. Please take policy. They will force your parents or family members to take policy. Why so? Because if you buy the policy through them, whatever premium you pay, no, a part of it they will get it as commission. So now who will pay this commission to them? Not you directly. You will pay the premium to insurance company. A part of it, insurance company will pay them as a commission. On that, is TDS applicable? Yes. At what rate, sir? If the agent is a domestic company, many people will set up a agency company one. So if the agent is a domestic company, 10%. If any other person like individual, many of your family members will be like practicing as individuals, as an agent. In that case, how much TDS has to be deducted? 2%. When TDS has to be deducted, sir? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. Okay. Next, 194 DA, I will cover it little later because all the commission I want to cover it together. Come to G. G is commission on sale of lottery tickets. Guys, who will earn the commission on the sale of lottery ticket? The agent who is selling the tickets. See, the person who is organizing is different. The person who will sell the ticket might be different. Normally, the tickets are sold by the agent and they will get commission for every ticket they sell. Now, assume the organizer is paying commission to that agent. Should they deduct TDS on it? Yes. That is, if the commission paid in a year is more than 20,000, all these are amendments, guys. Even here, the threshold limits are changed 20, 20 everywhere. Okay. If the commission paid is more than 20,000 in a year, who is paying it? Any person, normally the organizer. Who is receiving it? Any person, normally the agent. What is the rate of TDS? 2%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Guys, this again and again I need not explain. Hope you guys remember it. I had already covered it before I start with the TDS. The table. Clear? This one, I will show it again. This part. Clear? You can see whatever section we are covering now. Which section are we covering now? 194 G is covered. Got it? Yes, sir. Okay. Next. Sorry, what if it is any other commission or brokerage? Guys, if it is an insurance commission, we have a separate section. We have a separate section, which is that 194 D. If it is a lottery commission, it is covered under G. G for gambling. Lottery is obviously gambling. G for gambling. Okay. Any other commission or brokerage paid by anyone, TDS has to be deducted as per which section? 194 H, guys. See, in the exam, if they just give commission brokerage, they don't name it. Who is paying to whom? Please deduct TDS under section 194 H, guys. 194 H. Yeah. So commission or brokerage, if it is more than 20,000 in a financial year, who is paying it? Any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. Who is the payee? Any resident. What is the rate of TDS to be deducted? 2%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit to the account of the payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Sir, when TDS should not be deducted? If the commission or a brokerage is payable by BSNL or MTNL to their PCO franchises. BSNL means Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. MTNL means Mahanagar Telecom Nigam Limited. If they are paying commission to whom? PCO, that is public call offices. No TDS. No TDS. Guys, commission or brokerage is covered in 3 sections. insurance commission 194D. If it is lottery commission 194G. Any other commission 194H. Easy to remember. Easy to remember. Guys, you know this insurance has some connection with death. I am scared of death. That is why I am taking the policy, right? Correct? No, na. Yes, okay. So that at least my family members will be secured. It's not like, sir, life insurance policy, if I take, I will not die. Yeah? It's not like that. If I take policy, if by chance, if I go, at least my family members would be secured on that financially. Yes. So I am scared of death. I am taking the life insurance policy. And whatever I have paid a premium, a part of it will go as a commission to the agent. For him, TDS will be deducted by the payer under which section? 194D. See, connection is there. Please listen. Listen. You know, when the policy matures, we can claim the exemption under 1010D. 1010D. When the policy matures, if the person is died, then the nominee can claim full exemption. If the person is alive, then we will check throughout the term of policy how much premium was paid. Was it less than 10 or 20%? And is it less than 5 lakh? We will check all that. We had covered it under the head other sources. If all these conditions are met, is it exempt in hands of the person who has received it? Yes. Sir, what if it is not exempt? Then it is taxable. Who will pay the amount? Insurance company. If the insurance company is paying for me 1 lakh or more, which is taxable in my hands, they should deduct TDS at the rate of 2%. Under which section? 194DA. When, sir? At the time of payment. When TDS should not be deducted? If it is exempt in my hands. If it is exempt in my hands, which we already covered in income from other sources. If you want, you can mention there. IFOS. If you want point number also, I will tell. Point number 10. Point number 10. Taxation of life insurance policy amount. Okay, listen. D is different, DA is different, guys. D is on insurance commission. Who will pay to whom? Insurance company to agent. Whereas this is on the policy amount. Who will pay to whom? Who will pay to whom? The insurance company to the insured. Why, sir? What if it is paid to nominee or family members? Fully exempt, no TDS. Correct? Yes. Because it is fully exempt, right? If it is exempt, no TDS. If it is taxable, then only TDS. Sir, when it will be taxable? When the policy matured, the insured is still alive. And at least in 1 year, he has paid the premium more than 10% or 20% or more than 5 lakh. In that case, when the policy mature, if he is alive, can he enjoy the exemption? No. It is taxable. So when insurance company pay that amount, should they deduct TDS? Yes, at 2%. At 2%. So I can tell this D has some connection with insurance, guys. D has some connection to insurance. You can see here TDS under 194D, DA, and exemption under 1010D. People are scared of death, so they take the policy. So you can remember like that. D is all connected to insurance. Okay, G is about gambling. So insurance on, commission on sale of lottery ticket. Then H also easy to remember. See how I will give the shortcut now. You will be impressed. Commission or brokerage is paid to whom? Middleman, broker. Middleman. In between you and me, there is one person who is arranging the transaction between us. So for him, we need to pay commission or brokerage. Yes. Simple, guys. Assume I want to buy a house. Now you want to sell a house. We both don't know each other. We get connected through whom? Broker or the agent. For whom I need to pay commission or you need to pay commission. Now, for them when we are paying, should we deduct TDS? Yes, as per section 194H. Clear? But listen here. Sir, in between two people, there is one middleman. In between two people, two individuals are there, or two persons. In between them, to connect them, there is one middleman, middleman, for whom we will pay commission or brokerage. So, TDS on commission or brokerage under section 194H. How is the thought behind the shortcut? Now, section 194 I. There is an amendment here also. Guys, all these are amendments. Please be careful. The threshold limits has been amended 20,000. And you can see for all the commission on brokerage threshold limit is same 20,000. Easy to remember. Try to study it together, guys. Rate of TDS is also 2%, but only here they are told 10%. Whereas other sections you can see 2 only. Okay. Actually, even this rates and all was amended last year in between the year, but that doesn't matter for you. For your previous year 25-26, for the entire year one rate. For the entire year it is one rate. 194I. TDS on rent. When, sir? If the monthly rent is more than 50,000 or even exactly 50 also, TDS has to be deducted. That is, if the monthly rent is 50,000 or more, amendment. In a month, tenant is paying 50,000 or more rent. Should he deduct TDS? Yes. But tenant will not include. Tenant means obviously the payer. Payer means whom? Any person, but other than individual or HUF, who is not subject to tax audit last year. Sir, many of us are individuals who is paying rent less than 50 or even assume more than 50. If we are not subject to tax audit last year, should we deduct TDS? No. No TDS. Who is the payee? Any resident, who is nothing but the owner, guys. Any resident who is the owner. What is the rate of TDS? For plant and machinery or equipment, TDS rate is 2%. For land, building, furniture or fixtures, what is the rate of TDS? 10%. When the TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit or at the time of payment? Whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. Please be careful. This threshold limit has been amended, guys. Next, 194 IA. See, rent is when only the possession is given, not the ownership. Whereas, sir, what if I sell the property? What if I sell the property? Now, buyer will pay the sale consideration to the seller. Yes, the buyer has to deduct TDS. 194 IA. Payment on transfer of immovable property other than agriculture land. If the land transferred is an agriculture land, then no TDS. Whether it is in rural area or urban area, no TDS on it. Okay. Sir, what is the threshold limit? If the sale consideration or stamp duty value is more than or equal to 50 lakh. Sir, what should I take, sir? Sale consideration or stamp duty value, whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. For example, assume sale value is 40 lakh, but stamp duty value is 60 lakh. Whichever is higher is how much, guys? 60 lakh. Is 60 lakh more than 50 lakh? Yes. Should we deduct TDS? Yes. TDS has to be deducted. Next, one more example. Assume sale value is 60 lakh. Stamp duty value is 40 lakh. Whichever is higher, 60 lakh. Should TDS be deducted? Yes, because it is more than 50 lakh. So first compare actual sale value with stamp duty value. Whichever is higher you take. Check whether it is more than 50 lakh or equal to 50 lakh. If yes, TDS has to be deducted. At what rate, sir? 1%. 1% of whichever is higher. 1% of whichever is higher, guys. Then, sir, who should deduct the TDS? Buyer. Who should be the payee? Seller. That is any resident transfer. Got it. One important thing you guys have to take care here is, assume, guys, I will just give the example here. Assume the sale value is 60 lakh, but stamp duty value is 70 lakh. Whichever is higher, 70 lakh. Is it more than 50 lakh? Yes. Should TDS be deducted? Yes. On what amount? On 70 lakh, 1%. On 70 lakh, 1%. Comes to how much? 70,000. Now, buyer has to pay how much to the seller? 60 lakh or 70 lakh? 60 lakh. Because the sale value is 60 lakh. Stamp duty value might be more, but what he will pay is whatever is agreed between buyer and seller. How much will he pay? 60 lakh. So from 60 lakh, how much TDS he has to deduct? 70,000. Remaining, he will pay it to the seller. Hope you understood. Because what you might consider is, 70 lakh will buyer pay. No. What is the agreed consideration between buyer and seller? 60 lakh. But TDS is on whichever is higher. Higher figure was 70 lakh here. So 1% on which figure? 70 lakh. Higher figure was 70 lakh. Hope you understood. Clear? So buyer before paying 60 lakh, he will deduct 70,000 and pay remaining 59 lakh 30,000. 59 lakh 30,000 to whom? To the seller. Oh, now, one more thing. And please be careful. Actually, entire 60 lakh is not the income of the seller. Why, sir? Because we need to compute capital gains income for him, from which he will reduce. This is actually sale value. We will reduce the cost of acquisition, cost of improvement, everything. And moreover, for the seller, what will be the full value of sale consideration? 60 lakh or 70 lakh? 70 lakh. Why, sir? Because for the seller, we need to apply section 50C, 50 capital C. Correct? Or else, what if for the seller, if this land or building is a stock, then to compute EGBP income, what would be the full value of sale consideration? 70 lakh. As per section 43 CA. 43 CA. Connections. Connections. What we are learning now is TDS from buyer point of view. But I am also explaining the provision from seller point of view. Should seller compute the capital gains or business income? Yes. If it is a capital asset, he will compute capital gains. If it is a stock for him, he will compute business income. But what will be the full value of sale consideration to compute either capital gains income or business income is whichever is higher here, 70 lakh. We need to also actually take 110% of this. 110% of 60 lakh comes to 66 lakh. Is 70 lakh more than 66 lakh? Yes. So what is the full value of sale consideration? 70 lakh. Hope you guys can recall all this, what I'm telling. Oh, sir, what if by chance if it is a reverse case? Assume this was 50 lakh. Whichever is higher is how much, guys? 60 lakh. So should TDS be deducted on this? Yes. On 60 lakh, 1% comes to 60,000. So buyer before paying 60 lakh, he has to deduct 60,000 and pay remaining 59 lakh 40,000. Clear? Even from seller point of view, what would be the full value of sale consideration? 60 lakh itself. Because the sale value is more than stamp duty value. Got it? Yes. When TDS has to be deducted, guys, at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. If it is an agriculture land which is sold, no TDS. Then IB, 194 IB. Guys, listen here. 194I covers only the payer except the individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. So who was excluded here? Individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. But they are covering them here. Who is not covered here are covered here. You can see section 194 IB. Payment of rent by certain individuals or HUF. Who is that certain individual or HUF? I will read this. Individual or HUF whose accounts are not liable to audit under section 44 AB in the preceding financial year. In simple, who was not covered under section 194 IE, guys. This person is not covered here, right? So they're trying to include them in a separate section. Oh, they would have merged both section and tell simply here any person. I don't know why they have made it as two separate sections. Previously, actually, your threshold limit was different, but now they have brought uniformity between them. I feel somewhere they can remove this and include here any person. Clear? But still, whatever is there, I am teaching. This is how it is there, guys. Oh, fine. Sir, how much is the threshold limit? Payment in a month. You are paying a rent of how much? 50,000 or more. To whom? Who is the owner? Any resident. What is the rate of TDS, sir? 2%. When TDS has to be deducted? Not every month. TDS has to be deducted only at the time of credit of rent for the last month of the previous year or the last month of the tenancy if the property is vacated during the year, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. Simple. At the time of giving credit for the last month or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Sir, I didn't get it. I will explain. Listen. What is the rate of TDS? 2%. When TDS is applicable, if the monthly rent is 50,000 or more. Assume, guys, I am paying a monthly rent of 1 lakh. 1 lakh to my owner, rich owner, not rich tenant, rich owner. So I am paying a monthly rent of 1 lakh. So what is the annual rent? 1 lakh into 12. What is the annual rent, people? 12 lakh. On that, what is the TDS? 2%. On that, what is the TDS? 2%, which comes to 24,000. 24,000. So this 24,000 is the TDS for 1 month or for the entire year? For entire year. When it should be deducted? For the March month, I will pay 1 lakh. No, last month of the previous year, 1 lakh I will pay. No, from that I need to reduce 24,000. So TDS has to be deducted for the entire year in the last month, not every month, in the last. So 24,000 should be deducted in which month, guys? In March. March 26. So in March 26, I will pay 1 lakh minus 24,000. How much will I pay to the owner? 76,000, guys. Hope you got it. Hope you got it. Now, assume in between the year I am vacating the property. By September end, I am vacating the property. That means I am paying the rent only from April to September. When should I deduct TDS for this? In September. For how many months rent? 6 months, which comes to 6 lakh. On 6 lakh, 2%. We need to deduct TDS. 12,000 it comes to. 12,000 TDS has to be deducted in which month? September. That is the last month of tenancy. I am telling Tata bye-bye to my owner. I have found a new owner, new property, so I am going. Or else I have constructed my own building. Enough of giving rent. Hope you understood. So if the tenant is staying in the property for full 12 months, you need to deduct TDS for the entire year. In which month? March month. If he is vacating the property in between the year, any month other than March, then he should deduct TDS in the last month of tenancy from the beginning of the year till that month. Till that month. Hope you got it. Okay. When TDS is not applicable under this section, if the individual or HUF is covered under section 194I. When individual or HUF will be covered under section 194I, guys, if they are subject to tax audit. Under which section, sir? Under section 44AB. Clear? Huh? Yes. So please be careful. 194IB is only for those who are not covered under I. Who is not covered under I, Gurumurthy? Individual HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. Sir, what if it was individual or HUF who was subject to tax audit last year? Then they would have been covered here itself. They will deduct TDS under which section? 194I. So please be careful when you are studying. Please study these two together, guys. When exactly? Which section? Clear? Yes. Threshold limit and all is same. Threshold limit and all is same. This was already there, but here the limit was actually different, but now they have amended it. Okay. And one more thing, you might get confused, guys. Please listen. This both is on rent, whereas this is on sale. This is on sale. In between it is there. Don't get confused. And easy to remember, guys. I am paying rent on what? I have taken the building or even plant and machinery or even immovable property on rent. Easy to remember. You can see immovable property. I for like, you can remember like immovable property. Clear? Huh? Immovable. Obviously, your rent includes on rent on plant and machinery, furniture and all. But I'm just giving a shortcut. I for, sir, I am paying rent on assets. Clear? Huh? Especially here. Here only immovable property is covered. So you can remember it as IA. I for immovable property, guys. Okay. Next, J. I series is important because as it is connected, they may ask question on it. Please be careful with it. J is also important where we people are covered. Professionals. Professional 194 J. Fee for professional or technical services, royalty or non-compete fees, director's remuneration. If the payment in a financial year is more than 50,000 for each category, TDS has to be deducted. For each category, the TDS threshold limit is how much? 50,000. For example, listen now. Listen. I am paying your professional fees 30,000, technical fee 30,000, total 60,000. Should I deduct TDS? No. Because for each category, what is the threshold limit? 50, 50. No TDS. Next, assume I am paying your professional fee 60,000, technical fee 60,000. Should I deduct TDS? Yes, on entire 120. Understood? Guys, 50,000 threshold limit is not aggregate for each category here. One more example. Assume I am paying your royalty 20,000 and professional fee 40,000. Should I deduct TDS? No, I should not. I should not deduct it, guys. Okay. However, this limit does not apply in case of payment made to a director of a company. Guys, payment made to a director of a company, what is covered here is sitting fee or director fee, not salary. What is covered here is sitting fee or director's fee. Because if a director is an employee of a company and if he is getting salary, then TDS would have been deducted on salary income under section 192. 192. So if there is a employer-employee relationship between director and a company, and if director receive anything as salary, it is taxable for him under which head? Salary. So employer will deduct TDS under which section? 192. Same way, if director is receiving director's fee or sitting fee for attending the board of directors meeting, where is it taxable for them, guys? Under the head other sources. So the company will deduct TDS under section 192 now? No, because it is not taxable as salary. So company will deduct TDS under which section? 194J. Important. If director is an employee, whatever is received as a salary in the employee capacity, TDS will be deducted under section 192 because for him it is taxable under the head salary. Whereas whatever he is receiving as sitting fees or director's fee in the capacity of director for attending board meeting, where is it taxable for him? Other sources. TDS has to be deducted by the payer under which section? 194J. Important. I had made you guys to write a chart for this. Hope you can recall it. Next, sir, what is this? What is given in the bracket, sir? There is no threshold limit for the payment made to director. For example, for director, for attending the board meeting, 20,000 director fee is paid. Should be deducted? Yes. Yes. Sir, less than 50,000, sir. 50,000 is not applicable for the payments made to director, guys. So if any sitting fee or director fee is paid to the director, even if it is 2,000, 1,000, 20,000, 30,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, whatever is the amount, TDS has to be deducted. So the threshold limit is for other things covered here, like professional fee, technical fee, royalty, non-compete fee. For that, what is the threshold limit? 50,000. This is also an amendment, guys. Previously, it was 30,000. Now they have made it as 50,000. Who is the payer? Any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. Then, who is the payee? Any resident. What is the rate of TDS, sir? What is the rate of TDS? 2% if the payee, that means this guy, if the payee is engaged in the business of operation of call centers, you know, call centers and all, customer support. Okay. So if they are engaged in the business of that, what is the rate of TDS? 2%. Who payee means who guy? This person who is earning the income. Or if it is a fees for technical services, but not professional services. Here technical is separate, professional is separate for TDS purpose. Okay. Or royalty in the nature of consideration for sale or distribution or exhibition of cinematograph films. You know, the producer will sell the rights, distribution rights to the distributors. Okay, the person who has produced the film might not take the risk of distributing it. They will distribute. You guys would have heard Karnataka distribution is taken by Ombale Films or so and so producers or production company. So for that, will they pay the amount for the actual production company? Yes. On that, should TDS be deducted? Yes. At what rate? 2%. Any other case, what is the TDS rate, guys? 10%. Under 10%, what and all will come? Professional fees. Even payments made to directors will come under 10%, guys. So you remember when 2%, in all other cases, it will be 10%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of giving credit to the account of the payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. When TDS should not be deducted, last case, individuals and HUF are not required to deduct tax at source under section 194J on royalty and non-compete fee. Now listen, I am the individual or HUF who is subject to tax audit last year, Yashashwini. I was subject to tax audit last year. But this year, I am paying royalty or non-compete fee. Should I deduct TDS? No. No TDS. Even if it is more than 50,000, no TDS. What if I am paying technical fee or professional fee? Should I deduct TDS? Yes. They told individual HUF, if you are paying royalty or non-compete fee, don't deduct TDS. And one more This is very similar to what was covered under 194C. Guys, under 194C also I had similar point. If the contract is for personal purpose of individual or HUF, should they deduct TDS? No. I spoke about my marriage contract. Marriage contract in the sense not to get married, to get food, catering or decoration. Correct? On that, did I deduct TDS? No. Why? It was for personal purpose. Same way, any sum by way of fees for professional services credited or paid by an individual or HUF exclusively for personal purposes of such individual or any member of HUF, should TDS be deducted? No. TDS should not be deducted, guys. Simple. Let me give an example. Assume for my personal purpose, I have taken some professional services from you, or else legal services. Even legal services is covered under professional only. So I had some conflict with my brother. So I have appointed a lawyer. I am taking some legal services from them. I am paying 2 lakh for him as lawyer fee. Should I deduct TDS? No. It is for my personal purpose. No TDS, guys. Got it? Yes. So if professional services are taken, professional service includes legal services also. If it is taken for my personal purpose, then no TDS, guys. Sir, what if it is for business or professional purpose? Then TDS has to be deducted. Then TDS has to be deducted, guys. Okay, 194J is important section. Next, 194K. Okay. Income in respect of units of mutual fund, specified undertakings or specified company. Guys, assessee has invested in the units of any of this. Assessee has invested in the units of any of this and is getting the income on that. Should the payer deduct TDS? Yes, if the income is more than 10,000. Amendment. If the income earned by the assessee is more than 10,000, then the payer has to deduct TDS. Sir, who is the payer, sir? Any person responsible for paying any income in respect of units of mutual fund specified under section 1023D or units from the administrator of specified undertaking or units of specified company. Guys, what is specified undertaking, what is specified company and all, you need not worry. Assume you purchase the units of this and you are earning income on it more than 10,000. Should the payer deduct TDS? Yes. Who is the payee? Any resident, that is investor. What is the rate of TDS? 10%. Similar to we saw TDS on interest, dividend and all now. Similar to that. When TDS has to be deducted, guys? At the time of credit of that amount to the account of the payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. When no TDS, sir, if it is capital gains income. Guys, they told it is on the income in respect of the units. Sir, what if I have sold the units? Should they deduct TDS on it? No. Now I am holding that units. On that investment, the assessee or the mutual fund company is paying me the income. As a holder, I am getting the income. Should they deduct TDS? Yes. But if I have sold this unit, will they deduct TDS? No. The seller will compute capital gains income and he will pay tax, but no TDS on it. No TDS on it. Next, 194 LA. Compensation on acquisition of certain immovable property. Guys, please be careful. Here what is covered is compensation. So compensation is paid when there is a compulsory acquisition. Compulsory acquisition. Compulsory acquisition of what, sir? Immovable property. Immovable property includes what? Land or building. So if there is a compulsory acquisition of land or building by the government authority, they will pay me the compensation. If the compensation is more than 5 lakh, they have to deduct TDS at what rate? 10%. When? At the time of payment. But no TDS if the property acquired is a agriculture land, whether in rural area or in urban area. Whether in rural area or urban area. Pay attention. Some connection is there. Which is this section? 194 LA, which is talking about compensation on compulsory acquisition of what? Immovable property. Whereas we had one more section about this. Which was that, sir? IA. You can study both of this together. Sir, here this is also talking about transfer of immovable property. But this is transfer by assessee himself. I myself sold my land or building. Then TDS will be deducted under which section? 194 IA. Rate is also different. Please be careful. Whereas, sir, I didn't sell my property by myself. Government authority came and acquired it. Still, is it a capital gains income for me? Yes. But the payer has to deduct TDS under which section? 194 LA. So you can give connection for this. IA and LA is connected, but not in the same scenario. Guys, IA is when I myself sold my land or building. LA is that when they came and acquired it. Actually, both is transfer for the seller. We need to compute capital gains income. But TDS is under different sections. Even the threshold limits are different, guys. Please be careful. Clear? Yes. So 194 LA. 194 LA. And please be careful, this is an amendment. 5 lakh is a threshold limit, which is an amended figure. Oh, and easy to remember this. Guys, compulsory acquisition normally will be done by government authority. Let us assume local authority has compulsorily acquired my property. Local authority in the sense, assume for Bangalore, it is BBMP. BBMP. They have acquired my property for some reason, compulsorily. Whatever compensation they are paying me, they need to deduct TDS under which section? 194 LA. Okay, na? IA, LA. Try to study together. You can mention here, red with 194 IA. Just mention here. Red with 194 IA. Please be careful, it is on two different scenarios. This is on compulsory acquisition, whereas IA is when I myself sold it. Rate is also different. Please be careful, don't assume rates are same. Okay, next 194M. Guys, there are three sections, which is 194C, H and J. If you go back and see all these three sections, attention, 194C, H and J. 194C talks about what? Contract payment. H talks about commission or brokerage. H talks about professional or technical fee, non-compete fee, royalty, like that. All these three sections covers payers, any person other than individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year. So, in simple, sir, for this three section, that is 194C, H and J, payer will not include individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year, correct? Yes. Whereas these two people are counted. Now, for those who are not covered under 194C, H and J, they introduced a new section, 194M. 194M. Hope you understood. The individual or HUF who was not subject to tax audit last year are not covered under 194C, 194H, 194J. But for them, they have added a new section called 194M. New in the sense, not new now. It was added few years back. Okay, what is it? We will see. 194M, payment to contractors, commission or brokerage, fee for professional services. If it is more than 50 lakh in a year, more than 50 lakh, huge threshold limits. Who is paying it, sir? Individual or HUF, other than those who are required to deduct TDS under section 194 CHJ. In simple, individual or HUF who is not subject to tax audit last year. In the bracket you mentioned. In the bracket you mentioned. In the bracket you mentioned. Not subject to tax audit. Not subject to tax audit in the last financial year. I repeat, not subject to tax audit in the last financial year. I will just show you guys. You can see here. These three sections, I will just go back and see. You can see any person other than individual and HUF who is not subject to tax audit. H also, same story. C also will be same. So who were excluded here are included in 194M, provided they are paying more than 50 lakh in a year. 50 lakh in a year. Okay. Who is the payee? Any resident contractor or professionals. What is the rate of TDS? 2%. When TDS has to be deducted, guys? At the time of credit to the account of the payee or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. whichever is earlier. Okay. Next, 194 N. Guys, 194 N is some special section. Be attentive because this is kind of different. Till now, whichever sections we covered, for the payer it was an expenses, whereas for the payee it was income. So we are asking the payer to deduct the TDS before paying it to the payee. Whereas whatever TDS the payer has deducted and remitted to the government, payee will get a credit of it. Correct? And while disclosing the income, payee has to disclose how much? Gross figure. But 194N is slightly different. Why? Because they're asking the banks to deduct TDS when I am withdrawing the money from my own account. I am withdrawing the money from my own account. The department is asking the bank to deduct TDS when I am withdrawing it. Why so? Guys, listen. First of all, is it my income? No. Why? Sir, I had already earned this income. I had already disclosed this. And it is sitting in my bank account. It is my own money. I am withdrawing now. When I am withdrawing it, will you again consider it as income? No. They are not considering it as income. But they are asking payer, that is the bank, please deduct TDS. Why? Because the department want to track what you want to do with this money. Clear? Because when I am withdrawing huge money, they have told if I am withdrawing more than 1 crore and all, the department is interested to know what will I do with it. What will I do with it? You are withdrawing so much money. They are curious about what will you do with it. So they are asking bank, please deduct a TDS and remit it to us. So the department will get to know that I have withdrawn more than one. I repeat, when I withdraw, it is not my income, people. But they're asking bank just to deduct TDS and remit it so that they will track what I am doing with that money. Clear? So this is a special section where the amount which I am withdrawing is not my income, but still TDS will be deducted. Now, whatever bank is deducting TDS, will I get a credit of it? Yes. Even though the amount what I am withdrawing is not my income, still whatever TDS is deducted by bank and remitted to the government, I will get a credit of it. I will get a credit of it, guys. Okay, what is it? We will see. Cash withdrawal. Please be careful. This is a different section. So criteria is different. Don't get confused with other sections. For all other sections, for payer it was expenses. For payee it was a income. Okay, cash withdrawals. So I am withdrawing cash. Okay, who is the payer? First, let us see that. Who is the payer, people? A banking company or a bank or a banking institution or a cooperative bank or post office. Similar to the interest section we saw. But here I am not getting interest. I am withdrawing the money from my own account. Okay. Who is the payer? Sorry, who is the payee? Any person. In simple, I can tell account holder. Account holder. Who is withdrawing the money? Account holder. How much TDS has to be deducted, sir? 2% of the sum exceeding 1 crore or 3 crore or 20 lakh. Okay. Sir, when TDS has to be deducted? At the time of payment of such sum. Means whenever I am withdrawing, bank or cooperative bank or post office has to deduct the TDS. Now look here. Sir, what is the threshold limit? 1 crore. In a year, what is the threshold limit? 1 crore. But if the amount is withdrawn by cooperative society, then the threshold limit is not 1 crore. It is 3 crore. Any other person withdrawing it? Any other person withdrawing it? 1 crore. But if cooperative society is withdrawing it, what is the threshold limit, guys? 3 crore. Now listen. The rate of TDS is not on the entire amount. Again, special. Till now, whatever we learned, assume if threshold limit is 20,000. If I pay 30,000, how much TDS should I deduct? On entire 30,000. On what amount should I deduct TDS? On entire 30,000. But here it is different. They are asking you to deduct TDS only on the excess amount. Assume I am covered under this point. So if I withdraw more than 1 crore, they will deduct TDS at 2%. Yes. Assume I withdrew 1.2 crore. I withdrew 1.2 crore. How much is in excess of 1 crore? 20 lakh. On 20 lakh, TDS will be deducted at 2%. Only in the amount in excess of 1 crore. What if I withdraw 80 lakh, 40 lakh, 60 lakh? No TDS. What if I withdraw 60 lakh twice in a year? Crossed 1.2 crore, 1 crore? Yes. What is the aggregate withdrawal? 1.2. How much is in excess of 1 crore? 0.2. On that TDS 2%. On that TDS 2%. Okay. Sir. Now, what if cooperative society is withdrawing the money? Up to 3 crore, no TDS. Assume they are withdrawing 1 crore, 1.5 crore, 2 crore, 2.5 crore, no TDS. What if they withdraw 3.5 crore? How much is in excess of 3 crore, guys? 0.5 crore on that 2%. On that 2%. Got it, Tom? Yes. So what is the threshold limit under section 194N, guys? It is 1 crore, or if the amount is withdrawn by cooperative, not cooperative bank, cooperative society. Guys, there will be different type of cooperative society engaged in different activities. If cooperative society is engaged in banking business, then we call them as cooperative bank. Sir, what if cooperative societies are engaged in other businesses? Many cooperative agriculture activities they are engaged in. And even Amul, Amul is a cooperative society. Okay, that is Milk Federation. Okay. So, any cooperative society is covered here. Whereas what is covered here is only cooperative bank. That is the cooperative society engaged in banking business. Okay. Pay attention now. There is one special case where they are telling the threshold limit is not 1 crore or 3 crore. The threshold limit would be 20 lakh. Which is that special case? TDS to be deducted if the withdrawal exceeds 20 lakh in a financial year. If the recipient, that means this guy, account holder, has not furnished the return of income for last 3 assessment years, Bhupa. He has not filed the returns for last 3 years. In the current year is withdrawing more than 20 lakh. Should TDS be deducted? Yes. At what rate? 2%. Sir, what if we withdraw more than 1 crore? Then the TDS rate is 5% on the amount in excess of 1 crore. Understood? I repeat, who is covered in this special case? The assessee who has not filed the returns for all 3 years, last 3 years. Sir, he has filed for 2 years, but not for 1 year. Is he covered here? No. He has not filed the returns for last 3 years, guys. In the current year, do we treat him as special person? Yes. What is the threshold limit applicable for them? 20 lakh. If they withdraw more than 20 lakh, should we deduct TDS? Yes. Okay, please pay attention. This is important. I will connect and explain. Listen, guys. Now, assume I am a person who has not filed the returns for last 3 years. Am I a special person? Yes. What's the threshold limit applicable for me? 20 lakh. Now assume I withdrew 50 lakh from my bank account. On what amount they will deduct TDS? Minus 20 lakh. That is on 30 lakh, 2%. Understood? Yes. Next, assume I am a special person who withdrew 80 lakh. How much TDS they will deduct? Minus 20 lakh. How much is that? 60 lakh. On 60 lakh, 2%. Next important. Assume I am a special person. I am a special person who has withdrawn 1.5 crore from my bank account. 1.5 crore from my bank account. What is the threshold limit applicable for me? 20 lakh, not 1 crore. But I have withdrawn how much? 1.5 crore. So we need to divide this into 2 parts. We need to divide this into 2 points. How much that, sir? 1 crore separately and 0.5 crore separately. So 1 crore minus 20 lakh. How much do we get? 80 lakh. On 80 lakh, what is the TDS rate? 2%. Whereas on the remaining 0.5 crore, what is the TDS rate? Straight away 5%. Straight away 5%. Hope you understood. So if a special person, whom I am addressing as special person who has not filed the returns for last 3 years. If we withdraw more than 20 lakh, TDS is applicable. If it is more than 20 lakh, but within 1 crore, 2%. Sir, what if it is more than 1 crore? More than 20 lakh to 1 crore, 2%. More than 1 crore, it is 5%. Got it? Yes, I have given an example here. Okay, let me proceed further. And what if by chance, if that special person is a cooperative society, then instead of 1 crore, it would be 3 crore. Assume the cooperative society has not filed the returns for last 3 years. If they withdraw more than 20 lakh, is TDS applicable? Yes. More than 20 lakh up to 3 crore, 2%. If they withdraw more than 3 crore, amount in excess of 3 crore, how much TDS has to be deducted? 5%. Okay, sir. Last one, when no TDS. If the payments are made to government or banking company, cooperative society engaged in banking business or post office, if the following people are payee, no TDS. or banking correspondents, means banking agents who are working as an agent for the banks, or white label ATM operators. Guys, if the following people are payee, then no TDS. You can write there. If the following people are payee, then no TDS. Okay. Sir, what is that last point? White label ATM operators. Guys, they are the private people who operate the ATM machines. ATMs. Few of the ATMs you might know will be owned not by banks, by private people. There also, can I withdraw the money and all? Yes. Now they want money to go and fill it in the ATM machine, right? Now, if they are withdrawing more than 1 crore, 20 lakh and all, sir, will TDS be deducted on that? If the payments are made to the following people, guys, then no TDS. Even if the amount is more than 20 lakh, 1 crore, 3 crore and all, no TDS. So you can remember easily, simple. If you are withdrawing more than 1 crore or 20 lakh from your bank account, bank is telling, no, wait, I need to deduct TDS. It is your own money. They will not stop you, but they will deduct TDS. So 194N is for withdrawal. Okay. Sir, in this case, assume I am the account holder who withdrew the money. On that TDS is deducted. Who will get the credit, sir? Me. Even though the amount withdrawn by me is not my income, still I will get the credit. Why so? Because from my own money you deducted TDS, right? So government has already got it. So will they give a credit for me? Yes. Can I reduce it from my total tax liability? Yes. 194P. P covers again a special person. Let me consider that as person who is getting pension. 194P is pension. What is it telling? Guys, assume I am a senior citizen who is aged 75 or more. Not 60. Here what is given is 75 or more. I have a pension income as well as interest income from the same bank. Assume SBI. I have both the income from whom? SBI. I don't have any other income except this two. Now what section 194P is telling is, SBI, you are the payer who is paying pension income as well as interest income to this guy. Who guy? Resident senior citizen. Before you pay them, you deduct TDS. Sir, how much, sir? Whatever this guy is liable to pay as income tax, no. Entire amount has to be deducted by SBI as what? TDS. They have to deduct it as what, guys? TDS. Under which section, sir? 194P. 194P. So what should this bank do is simple. They have to calculate the total income of this resident senior citizen, including pension income and interest income. Pension income normally will be taxable under which head? Salary. Interest income under which head? Other sources. Compute the total income of this senior citizen. Calculate the tax liability of that senior citizen. Whatever tax he is supposed to pay, completely deduct it as what? TDS. So is there a specific rate of TDS? No. They just told whatever is the tax liability of this guy, you need to deduct it as what? TDS. Clear? And this section is applicable only if this person is earning pension as well as interest from the same bank and is not getting any other income. And they also gave a relief for this guy, telling whatever you are supposed to pay, if already TDS is deducted by the bank, then you need not again pay tax and you need not even file income tax returns. You don't even file income tax returns, they told. Why, sir? Because whatever they are supposed to pay, already it is collected. They told you are already age-old person, don't put efforts to file returns. It's okay, leave. It's okay, leave on. Got it? Yes. And one more thing, guys. See, your bank is paying pension. Does not mean that this guy was an employee of bank. Assume I was an employee of some other person or government. Now that government is paying me pension through SBI bank account. Correct? Even though the actual person who is giving it is different, but I am earning pension through whom? SBI. I am getting the credit through whom? SBI. Clear? So who are supposed to deduct TDS in this case? SBI. Yes. Hold tight, few more sections. We'll just close it. Almost done. Pension along with interest on bank account. Pension along with interest on bank account means You are earning the pension as well as interest from the same bank account. What is the threshold limit? 4 lakh, 3 lakh or 5 lakh, which is nothing but basic exemption limit as applicable to the assessee. Sir, you are not given 2 lakh 50. You will understand. You will understand later. Who is the payer? Notified specified bank. Who is the payee? Specified senior citizen. Who is it? I have given you. Draw the arrow mark. Who is it? I have given it here. Below, we will read it. Specified senior citizen means an individual being a resident in India. Okay, they are resident. Who is age of 75 years or more at any time during the previous year. Not 60. Here they are telling 75 or more. Okay. Is having pension income and no other income except interest income received or receivable from any account maintained by such individual in the same specified bank in which is receiving his pension income. Means both the income is getting from same bank. That is pension as well as interest. And he has to give a declaration to the bank telling, I don't have any other income except this. That senior citizen has to give a declaration to the bank telling, I don't have any other income except this too. Sir, what if that person has any other income like rent or anything? Then 194P is not applicable. 194P is not applicable, guys. Okay. Note, such specified person, that is specified senior citizen, is exempted from filing the returns. Why, sir? Because whatever this guy is supposed to pay tax, the payer is deducting it as TDS. So they are exempted from even filing the returns. As they are senior citizens, they may not be able to do it independently. That is why government told, okay, we will exempt you. What is the TDS rates? Rates in force. Rates in force, guys, means simple. Considering both pension income and interest income, the bank has to calculate the total income of the senior citizen. They have to calculate the tax liability as per the rates applicable to that senior citizen, considering basic essential limit, everything. Whatever is the tax liability of that senior citizen, they will deduct it entirely as TDS. So that is why they have not given any specific rate here. Rate here means the rates as per the chapter which we have learned in chapter 2.1, guys. Tax rates. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of payment. Okay. 194P done. 194Q. Purchase of goods. Buyer is buying the goods value more than 50 lakhs. I told hold your nerve till I complete. Buyer is buying the goods worth more than 50 lakh. When he is paying it to the seller, should he deduct TDS? Yes. For example, listen here. Listen. Only 3 more sections. Now, buyer has bought the goods from the seller. For how much, sir? Assume 60 lakh. Assume 60 lakh. Is it more than 50 lakh? Yes. So they're telling in excess of how much? 50 lakh. Whatever amount is there on that TDS has to be deducted. So TDS is not on the entire amount. It is similar to 194 yen. TDS is only on the excess part. So if the purchase value is more than 50 lakh, on that excess TDS has to be deducted. But is TDS deductible always? No. They're telling only in which year we are checking this TDS, guys? We are checking it in the year 25-26. Check what was the business turnover of the buyer for 24-25. That is last year. If that is more than 10 crore, only then in the current year, buyer will deduct TDS. I repeat, buyer's business turnover in the last year is more than 10 crore. Only then he is covered as payer in the current year. Sir, what if the buyer's turnover in the last year from business was less than 10 crore? Then in the current year, he is not covered as payer. That means, should he deduct TDS? No, he should not deduct TDS. Clear? Yes. So, you can see here. I have given, first let me read this. Buyer means a person whose total sales or gross receipts or turnover from the business exceeds 10 crore, not in the current year, during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which the purchase of goods is carried out. Guys, in our case, purchase of goods will be made in which year? 25, 26. So we need to check this turnover for which year? 24, 25. 24, 25. So two conditions has to be satisfied, guys. Listen here. Buyer first has to check last year turnover. Is it more than 10 crore? Yes. In the current year, from the single seller, have I purchased more than 50 lakh? From the single seller, not from everyone put together. From the single seller, did I buy the goods worth more than 50 lakhs? If yes, TDS has to be deducted. Single seller, please be careful. Assume I have purchased 10 lakh worth of goods from 10 people. Totally 1 crore. Should I deduct TDS? No. One single seller. Okay. Hope you understood. What are the two conditions? I repeat again. Last year business turnover of the buyer is more than 10 crore. In the current year, he has purchased the goods worth more than 50 lakh. If both these conditions are satisfied, buyer has to deduct TDS before paying the money to the seller. Okay. So who is the buyer? Buyer is who is responsible for the paying any such sum to any resident for purchase of goods. So payer is a buyer, whereas payee is a seller. In bracket, you can write seller. Seller. And you can also draw the arrow mark for the buyer for this point, because I have also given below who should be the buyer. Okay, one more thing, listen. I am the buyer who has purchased the goods worth 80 lakh in the current year, but my last year business turnover was 8 crore. Should I deduct TDS in the current year? No. 194Q is not applicable for me. Why so? Because last year business turnover was less than 10 crore. Okay. Next. What is the rate of TDS, sir? 0.1% of the sum exceeding 50 lakh. And that 50 lakh is excluding GST and other tax. So in my example, how much is the purchase value? 60 lakh. How much is in excess of 50 lakh, guys? 10 lakh. On that, 0.1%. On that, it is 0.1% TDS. Hope you understood. Sir, what if the purchase value is like 80 lakh minus 50 lakh? How much do we get? 30 lakh. On that, 0.1%. 0.1%. One more interesting story. They told 50 lakh is excluding GST and any other tax. Guys, listen. Assume I have purchased the goods. The value of the goods is 70 lakh. On that, GST applicable is, I'm just taking random figure, 10 lakh. So what is the total invoice price? 80 lakh. So when we are checking 50 lakh, should we check 80 lakh or 70 lakh? 70 lakh. Is 70 lakh more than 50 lakh people? Yes. Now buyer will pay how much to the seller? 80 lakh, including GST. But he need to deduct TDS on what amount? 70 lakh minus 50 lakh. How much is that? 20 lakh. On that, 0.1%. So before buyer pays 80 lakh, actually totally he will pay 80 lakh including GST. Before he pays 80 lakh to the seller, you need to deduct TDS of how much? 20 lakh into 0.1%. So in simple, if I have to tell, no TDS on GST component, because that is also a tax. You cannot deduct tax on tax. Clear? And obviously this is indirect tax. We'll go to a different department, that is CBIC, but still they told no TDS on GST. Clear? One more example. I will take it on the other side. Assume value of the goods is 45 lakh. GST is 8 lakh. What is the invoice price, people? 53 lakh. Is TDS applicable in this case? No. No TDS. Why, sir? Because 50 lakh is less than, 45 lakh is less than 50 lakh. Is that clear? Because students, by mistake, you might take this. No. That 50 lakh threshold limit, what we check is excluding GST and other taxes. Clear? Hope you understood. So you need to take purchase value excluding GST. Excluding GST. Even when we are deducting TDS, it is purchase value minus 50 lakh. Whatever is the remaining amount, on that 0.1%, guys. Important. Actually, there was one section connected to this in TCS, but they have removed that section. That was 206C 1H. 1H. This was a TCS section which was connected to this, but they have removed it. They have removed it now. Oh, that section is not there. Fine. Sir, when TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. When TDS should not be deducted is, if for the seller, if the income is fully exempt, then buyer should not deduct TDS. Whatever goods he has sold, sir, it is fully exempt under Income Tax Act, sir. Whatever income he is earning, normally when he earn any income from the sale of goods, where is it taxable? Under the head PGBP. But it is fully exempt, sir. For some reason, it is fully exempt. Should TDS be deducted? No. If the income is exempt in the hands of seller, then buyer should not deduct TDS tax. Then 194R, benefit or perquisite whose value is more than 20,000. If there is any benefit or perquisite given not to an employee, if benefit or perquisite is given by employer to employee, where employer will deduct TDS? Under section 192. And now what is covered here, sir? Maybe the benefit or perquisite given to non-employees. Like for example, sir, a benefit or perquisite is given to an auditor or a lawyer of the company who is not an employee. Should TDS be deducted? Yes. Under which section? 194R. If that value of the benefit is more than 20,000. Who is the payer? Any person other than individual or HUF who is not subject to tax audit last year. Who is the payee? Any resident, but they should not be the employee. If they're employee, obviously the TDS would be deducted under section, guys, 192. What is the rate of TDS, sir? 10%. And when TDS has to be deducted? Before providing such benefit or perquisite. But one more thing here. Assume a company is giving a benefit to the lawyer who is giving legal services to the company of 1 lakh rupees. It is benefit, not in money. How will we deduct TDS, sir? Can I deduct a part of benefit and give it? No. In that case, what should company do is, what is the value of benefit? They have to value it. 1 lakh. On that, what is the TDS? 10,000. Collect it from the lawyer. Deposit it to the government. Clear? Because as the benefit or perquisite will be in kind, guys, we cannot cut it and give. But still TDS applicable is on the value of benefit. So I will assume value of benefit is 1 lakh. On that TDS is how much? 10,000. Collect it from the lawyer and remit it to the government. Sir, what if by chance lawyer doesn't pay it? Then payer has to pay out of his own pocket. Payer has to pay out of his own pocket. If not, it will be his default. Okay. Any benefit or perquisite, whether convertible into money or not, arising from business or exercise of a profession, the provisions would apply to any benefit or perquisite, whether in cash or in kind, or partly in cash or partly in kind. If it is in kind, we need to value that benefit and TDS has to be collected from the person and deposited to the government. One last section, 194T, completely new section. Completely new section which has been added. Sir, if partnership firm is paying to the partner, not life partner, partner of the partnership firm, what are they paying, sir? Interest, salary, bonus, commission, or we call it as remuneration. If firm is paying any of this to the partner, we have checked under the head PGBP. What is allowed for the firm is as per section 40B. Correct? Whatever is allowed for the firm, it is taxable for the partner under the head PGBP. Correct? Should I go back and explain now? I can do it. Chart. I had drawn similar two things. Listen. Idella. Listen. I will explain here only. Should I go back? Okay, I will explain here only. Here only I can form the table again. I need not go back. If a partnership firm is paying interest, salary, bonus, commission to a partner, is it allowed as an expenses for the firm? Yes, as per section 40B. Interest maximum 12%. Salary, bonus, commission subject to 40B limit. Depends on book profit. On the first 6 lakh book profit, 90%. On the remaining, 60%. And whatever is allowed for the firm as an expenses will be taxable for the partner as business income. Correct? See, if I don't get respond, I have to explain again. Okay, listen. Understood? Good. Now what they're telling is, this is a new section which they have added. When firm is paying interest, salary, bonus or commission to the partner, they have to deduct TDS on it. How much, sir? 10%. 10% TDS has to be deducted. Okay, let me read it. Any sum in the nature of salary, remuneration, commission, bonus, or interest. Who is paying to whom? Any person being a firm, that is partnership firm. To whom? Partner of such firm. Not partner life. I am not talking about life partner. I am talking about whom, Chirag? Correct. What is the threshold limit? Sum or aggregate of such sum more than 20,000 during the financial year. How much TDS has to be deducted? 10%. When TDS has to be deducted? At the time of credit of such sum to the account of partner, including credit to capital account. Normally, sometimes the partnership firm will give credit to the capital account of the partner, or at the time of payment, darshan, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. And here they didn't tell. Should we consider how much is allowed under 40B and all? No, they are not told. That means whatever the firm is paying to the partner in the name of interest, salary, bonus, commission, if it is more than 20,000, then TDS has to be deducted at 10%. So finally, we have covered all the sections of TDS.